It's so easy to farm gold in Mist of Pandaria, especially with the strategy I'm about to show you, where I'm usually making between 4,000 to 5,000 gold an hour. The insane thing is that you can also do this without being max level. Yeah, in this case I'm on my level 80 hunter. The raw gold I'm making here is of course not as high, as I can't do 2 big pulls, but it's still fairly decent. We're still talking about 2 to 3,000 gold an hour. But how does this farm work, and how will I be able to continue resetting the naxxramas for this to be efficient? Well, I will tell you everything in the video right now. First, you want to move to the raid. It can be found in Dragonblight right here. You can always ask a mage for a portal to Dalaran, or you could use the Zeppelin or boat and go to Northrend. Next, make sure your raid difficulty is set to 10 men, as 25 men will be way too difficult and also making you less gold per hour. Once you're inside, you want to move to the Plague Quarter. Here there will be some ads you'll need to deal with until you have made your way to the first boss encounter. There aren't really many things to pay attention to. Basically, you just want to pop all your cooldowns and nuke it down. However, if you're level 80, you will probably not be able to solo this encounter. Ask someone for help. The person probably needs to be at least level 85, and then once you have killed North the Plaguebringer, you're also ready to begin the farm. The reason for this is because once you have taken down this boss, the gate behind me, or well, the OC door over there, will disappear, and now the real farm begins. Why? Well, as we have killed this boss, we will now be able to reset the raid and continue to kill these creatures over and over. From here, it all depends on your class, gear and level. In this case I'm playing my druid, and I'm pretty much also fresh level 90 with a couple of blue and green items, but nothing insane really. So yeah, if your class is capable of also doing this farm, you should definitely try to pull the whole room. However, it is fairly quickly, so it doesn't really matter if you're dividing it into, for example, 4 or 5 different pools. What you would also like to know is that none of these creatures are beasts and capable of being skinned, so it doesn't really matter if you have leveled up your skinning. What matters is actually having tailoring, but I will get back to this in a moment. Once you have cleared the whole room, you would like to run back to the entrance, exit the raid and reset. But how do we reset the raid? You can make a pre-made group where you for example make a 10-man raid. Now you will be able to reset the instance. You simply just change the raid difficulty to 25 men and back to 10 men. Next, you want to move back into naxxramas, and now you will also notice something. None of the creatures up to North the Plaguebringer has respawned. Yeah, they're not even capable of doing this, and North the Plaguebringer will also stay dead until the next maintenance or well raid reset, which happens once a week. So you have an entire week to also continue doing this farm. Yeah, now we just repeat the same procedure over and over, and hopefully you will also end up making a ton of gold. If you're an enchanter, you can also disenchant all the green, rare and epic items you find, as you can usually make more gold on the auction house with the enchanting materials, or even make enchants and sell those to people, leveling up their characters. But there's yet another way to make even more gold. If you have leveled up tailoring and got yourself Northrend cloth scavenging, then whenever you're killing a creature inside naxxramas, there's also a chance you will be getting additional frostweave cloth, which you can sell on the auction house, sell to a vendor, or even use as a tailor to make different green items and disenchant these. The thing about naxxramas is that it's also fairly quick to do, so at some point you might also be locked out. This is where you could for example post things on the auction house or log in to a second account where you can continue to do the farm whenever your main character is locked out and waiting for the opportunity to continue resetting the raid. This is where you can then proceed like this. Of course, all of you won't have a second account, and that's why you could for example be doing tailoring stuff using the auction house, or log in to another character and level up in the open world. What about vendoring our stuff? Well, for those of you with the Traveler's Mammoth, you can just summon this right outside the raid when you're going to reset. There's also 2 nearby towns where you can vendor everything and even repair. Remember also not to kill the second boss, Hagan. If you accidentally end up doing this, you won't be able to reset the room with all these creatures. In my first raw gold making video, I also explained I was trying to optimize Grim Patrol, and I've finally been able to do so. I will show you this in just a moment. Yeah, it is way more efficient to do this if you're playing as a tank, as you'll benefit from Vengeance and also be able to pretty much pull 50 monsters at a time. For those of you not playing a tank, I would definitely skip this and simply just stick to naxxramas. But what have I optimized? Well, instead of doing the whole dungeon, I would pretty much skip the last boss, and in some cases also boss number 3, as I feel like it takes way too much time. So instead of killing the third boss that I just killed right here, you could instead kill all the trash in this room, unequip your gear, and jump into the lava. This will also instantly kill you, and now you'll be pretty close to the entrance where you can reset and go once more. If you do this, you will usually make between 2,500 up to 3,000 gold, but if you do the third and the fourth boss, you will usually only make close to 2,000 gold an hour. Remember to also take advantage of all the different corners where you can line of sight the casters to make this farm a lot easier, also because some of these are casting Haunt, and this debuff stacks up and can potentially also end up killing you. This is why I'm using line of sight all the time. To unequip your gear quickly, you just go to Equipment Manager. Yeah, this is installed by default. You make a new set. This is, for example, no gear. You make an icon, and now when you press on this, you will either equip or unequip all your gear. Yeah, you just make two different sets. Remember to, of course, unequip most of your items, but cloaks, rings, and trinkets doesn't really need to be unequipped, as they have no durability. In the previous video, I also did Lost City of the 12th year. I've not been able to optimize the route, or well, in one way, and this will also benefit you when you're going to do Grim Patrol, because we can use a consumable from Cataclysm. Whenever you're killing any of these creatures, there's also a chance you will be getting a treasure. In here, there'll be materials and also additional raw gold, and I feel like it is actually worth the gold to purchase it, as it lasts for 1 hour. This will make you more raw gold, but using the auction house is also something I would recommend you to do, even though this is mainly just a raw gold making video, because you can make a lot of additional gold if you're also selling these items on the auction house, especially cloth are selling. But as more people are watching this video, the price will definitely also be reduced. This is where I'm keeping my cloth for another time where the price is better. Some of you has also been curious about my druid. Well, my average item level is 450. I mainly go for gems with stamina, as I feel like having more health is gonna be important when you're doing higher level farms. If we were only doing naxxramas, well, then I would more likely focus on doing better DPS. When I'm farming on my druid, I'm using feline swiftness for running quicker, and also this passive, as I can now passively regen 5% health. This is why I also went for stamina gems. In 1 week from now, I will also release my MOP Pandaria investment video, but as a member, you have early access and will in fact be able to see it right now. This also marks the ending of this video. If you would like to see more gold making videos in the future, make sure to subscribe and check out my channel for a lot of other useful MOP Pandaria guides.